Ramakatha Rasavahini, Prema Sudhamritavahini, Sathya Sanatani Dharma Swarupini, Shanti Pradayini Mokshakarini, Ramakatha Rasavahini, Ramakatha Rasavahini.
Sai Ram, everyone. Just to recollect where we are studying Ramakatha Rasavahini chapter 2 in English. We have come to the end of it last week. Swami is talking about King Dasharatha. His greatness was being outlined by Swami. That's the end of chapter 2 in English. And we'll be going to chapter 3. In the Telugu, the chapter 2 covers both chapter 2 and 3 in English. So we'll continue. So in Telugu, it is chapter 2. But in English, now we are in chapter 3. I have the last paragraphs from chapter 2 are on the screen here. We'll just read it once. If anyone would like to discuss any of the points, we will, otherwise we will move on. So I will ask Uncle
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
As soon as Dasharatha heard the news, he hastened quickly to the Sarai bank and bewailed the loss of his dear father. He arranged for the funeral without delay and felt some relief that his father had given up life through a ritualistic vow. He drew some strength from this fact and resumed his duties as the ruler with full mastery of all his varied faculties. Within a short time, the fame of Dasharatha illumined all quarters like the rays of the rising sun. He had the intrepidity and skill of 10 charioteers and rolled into one. And so the name Dasharatha, the 10-chariot hero, was found appropriate. No one could stand up against the onrush of his mighty chariot. Every contemporary ruler, mortally afraid of his prowess, paid homage to his throne. The world extolled him as a hero without equal, a paragon of virtue, a statesman of the highest stature.
If anyone would like to discuss any of the points here, we can. As you can see, King Aja had passed away at the bank of Sarayu River after taking the vow of fasting, not taking food. And when he passed away, Dasharatha rushed and he was sorrow-stricken. As we can see, the previous kings, they had all had taken a vanaprastha, and their death was also not discussed. It looked as if the children were not even aware of their death. But in this case, Aja, he had not taken vanaprastha per se. So his death was known to the King Dasharatha and he bewailed it. But as you can see, he has recovered from that sorrow and he established himself as a mighty hero and a king who everyone looked up to. So I will stop here. If anyone would like to discuss any of the points, we can. Otherwise, we'll move on.
I think just one thing I noticed, Uncle, was that a very quickly the Swami kind of subtly touches upon that lack of detachment that I think Dasharatha has, and he very quickly talks about the strengths here. But I think what I thought was just no matter how many strengths he had, that one detachment which he could not cultivate ultimately led to his, I guess, his future. But
Yes. I think we have briefly discussed that also, Saishan. So I think as in the spiritual path, not only the control of the senses, which Dasharatha had achieved, and because of that physically in the world, he was a very powerful person. Mentally, the detachment was something which he struggled with, I guess, like all of us. And all these characters actually reflect some aspects of our own selves. So this is like a mirror in which we can also see ourselves having certain qualities of different people, and it gives an opportunity for us to also inquire within where we are. That's what Ramayana is all about. Various characters who reflect some quality or other of ours also. So I think as we progress, we will have more insight into the characters as well as ourselves. And hopefully we can do whatever we need to do. I'll stop here. If anyone would like to discuss, we'll discuss. Otherwise, we are moving on to chapter 3 in English. Sai Ram. We can move on. Sai Ram, uncle.
Sai Ram. Chapter 3, No Progeny from his loins. Ravana, the Rakshasa king of Lanka, heard of Dasharatha and his fame. He was so filled with envy that he determined on a sure plan to destroy him by means fair or foul. Ravana sought for an excuse to provoke Dasharatha into a fight. One day, he sent word through a messenger that unless tribute was paid to him, he would have to meet Ravana on the battlefield and demonstrate his superior might in war. This call was against international morality. But what morality did a Rakshasa respect? When Dasharatha heard the messenger speak, he laughed outright in derision. Even while the messenger was looking on, he shot sharp, deadly arrows which reached Lanka itself and fastened the gates of that city. Addressing the envoys, Dasharatha said, "Well, sirs, I have now made fast the doors of your fortress city. Your master cannot open them, however hard he may try. That is the tribute I pay to your impertinent lord." When the envoys returned and informed Ravana of this, he was shocked to find all the doors closed fast. The desperate efforts made by Ravana with all his men met with failure. They could not open the gates. When Ravana was struck with shame, strangely enough, the arrows returned to Ayodhya and the doors flew open. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, uncle. We will read the Telugu auntie, Sai Ram.
Yeah, Sai Ram. ఈ విషయము ఎటులను రావణునికి కూడా తెలిసెను. That's
this information on this was known to Ravana also got to know this.
ఆనాటి నుండి ఎటులైనా ఈ దశరథుని అంతమొందించవలెను అనే దుర్బుద్ధి అతనిలో దినదిన అభివృద్ధి గాంచెను.
From from that day itself, Ravana's thought of somehow bringing down Dasharatha grew day by day.
దశరథునితో పోరాడుటకు ఏదియో ఒక కారణము ఉండవలెను కదా అని రావణుడు ఆలోచించి,
So there should be some reason for him to fight with Dasharatha. So he thought about it, considered it.
ఒకనాడు తన రాక్షస దూతల ద్వారా దశరథునకు కబురంపెను.
So one day, through his messengers, the demonic messengers, he sent word to Dasharatha.
అది ఏమనా, దశరథుడు తనకు శుల్కమును దూతల ద్వారా పంపుమనియు.
What that news was that Dasharatha had to pay him some tax or tariff through the messengers.
అది చెల్లించకున్న యుద్ధము తప్పదు అనియు రాజనీతికి విరుద్ధమైన వార్తను తెలిపెను.
So he said if he does not, then he has to be met in the war. Thus, in opposition to the morals of a king, he sent word.
అది దశరథుడు విని పక్కన నవ్వి, వచ్చిన దూతలు చూడగానే తీక్ష్ణమైన బాణములకు లంకా పట్టణముపై విడిచెను.
So Dasharatha laughed at it, and in front of the messengers themselves, as they were looking at it, he sent a very powerful arrow which was very sharp towards Lanka.
అవి పోయి లంకా పట్టణపు ద్వారములను బంధించెను.
They reached Lanka and they blocked all the doors.
అంత వచ్చిన దూతలతో, రాక్షస దూతులారా, నేనిప్పుడు మీ నగర ద్వారములు బంధించి తిని.
So then Dasharatha addressed the messengers and told, "O demonic messengers, right now I have bound all the doorways of his city."
దానిని మీ రాజైన రావణుడు తెరచిన, నేను యుద్ధము చేయకయే మీ రాజునకు శుల్కముని ఇత్తును అని చెప్పి పంపెను.
So he said, if Ravana can get them opened, and then if I don't fight, then if I don't chayakaye, so if I wage war, then I will send him my tax to tariff.
యుద్ధము చేయకయే,
without fighting, I will send him my tariffs.
రాక్షస దూతలు రావణునికి తెలుపుటకై వెళ్ళిరి.
The demonic messengers, they went back to Ravana to let him know this.
అన్ని ద్వారములు బంధింపబడినవి.
All the doorways were blocked.
రావణుడు తన పరివారము ద్వారములు తెరచుటకై ఎన్నో శక్తియుక్తులను ఉపయోగించి చూచిరి.
Ravana, along with his retinue, made very efforts to open the doors.
సాధ్యము కాకపోవుటచే రావణుడు తనకు జరిగిన పరాభవమునకు తలవంచి ఓడిపోతిను అనుభావము హృదయమున తలంచంగనే బాణములు తిరిగి అయోధ్య నగరకు చేరెను.
When it was not possible for him to do that, Ravana felt ashamed by the disrespect which he had to face, and he realized that he had lost. As soon as that feeling entered his heart, the arrows returned back to Ayodhya.
That's it. ద్వారములు తెరుచుకొనెను. Doors flew open.
The doors flung open.
Yeah, that's it. Sai Ram.
I will stop here. So it's very nice incident which happened to Ravana, and Dasharatha's response to Ravana. As you can see, against international morality, as the translation says, he was asking for tariffs to be paid or due tax to be paid. And Dasharatha gave the appropriate response. I think he sent a missile, but the missile was so good and accurate that they just locked the doors. And when the result of what he had anticipated that they should do, when it happened, when Ravana realized the futility of his efforts, it returned back. Very advanced missile technology, actually. So I will stop here if anyone would like to discuss any point. Sai Ram. So you can, so it's Sai Ram Sanjay, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, no, hopefully you can hear me clearly.
Yes, very clear.
Yeah, okay, great, thanks. Just one quick question that if Auntie and you could quickly read the Telugu portion of the very first line where in English it says by means fair or foul. Is that there in the...
No, it doesn't say.
It's not there. It's not there.
It is not there, okay. Because this communicates a completely different
No,
meaning.
no.
Swami just says Rajanitiki Viruddhamaina Varta.
Varta.
That's all.
It's
Something against the rules of a king, moral of a king.
Rajniti.
And the other question I had was again from the Telugu, in the third paragraph where it says, however hard he may try, that is the tribute.
So he did not say that, Swami is, Dasharatha is telling, he's saying, Rakshasa Dutarala, demonic, Neni Pudu, me Nagara Dwaramula Bandinchitini. I have blocked all your doorways to the king or city. Me Rajaina Ravanudu, Terachina, if he opens them, Nenu Yuddhamu Cheyakaye, without fighting a war, me Rajuku Sulkamu Nittunani Cheppi Pampenu. He said, if he is capable of opening them, without fighting a war, I will right away send the tax. That's all Swami says. Nothing else is told.
Yeah, so the translation here is
yeah, I understand. It's a bit...
it's off, yeah.
Because he asked for a war, so he said, okay, I have sent the weapons now itself. If we can fight them, and then there's no need for me to come there and fight. So I think that it was a challenge which was thrown at him. He just said, okay, I will respond. So that's what he did, I think, proactively.
And if you could also, one more thing, if I could bother, the last line, when Ravana was struck with shame, strangely enough, you could read the Telugu portion of that once more, please.
Parabhavamu, Ravanudu, Tana Parivaramu Dwaramulu Terachutakai. Parivaram. So he tried to open, for opening the door, Enniyo Shakti Yuktulan Upayoginchi. He tried many, all sorts of forces and all sorts of techniques he employed and saw. Sadhyamu Kaka Povutache, when it became impossible, Ravanudu Tanaku Jarigina Parabhavamunaku. So that shaming. I think Parabhava Sari auntie.
Parabhava is to Odipoyedi.
Okay, so he has he lost the loss.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that he
has lost
the loss which has taken place. Talavanchi means he bent down his head or something, auntie?
Yeah. He bent down.
Bent down his head.
With shame, he bent down.
With shame, yeah. Odipodanu bhavam hridayamuna talanchagane. As soon as
Odipotinanu bhavamu.
that I am lost, that feeling, as soon as it entered his heart,
బాణములు తిరిగి అయోధ్య నగరమునకు చేరెను.
the arrows returned back to Ayodhya. Thank you, Auntie.
As soon as the feeling came in Ravana's
Heart.
heart that that I have lost, the feeling itself was enough for the arrows. I mean, defeat was accepted.
Yes, defeat.
Looks like.
So Parabhavam is defeat.
Defeat.
Thank you, Auntie.
Thank
Is there any
Thank
correlation to the doors being blocked with? Is it representing like ego? Is that
Very, very good question. Dasharatha versus Dashamukha. The Mukha basically means, actually Mukha itself is a doorway. Mukha also means senses, face or mouth. So instead of shutting his mouth, he shut the door. So the Dwaram for the city is also, it's a Mukha. The entrance itself is an opening through which we enter. So it is a very poetic almost. One of the challenges which Ravana had was his senses were not under control. They were openings. Dasharatha had completely closed all of them. So that way also we can take. But that was a weakness which Ravana had. He did not have total control over all his senses. That is also so he had many layers of meaning is what I would say. So instead of asking him to shut his mouth, he shut the doors of the city itself.
so similar to how Dasharatha, although he had control over all the
Senses.
that one inability to control like that detachment, the same way, although Ravana was a hardened devotee of Shiva, through all his, like, I guess he was known to be a devout devotee.
Yes.
And so regardless of all that, because of this inability to
Control the senses.
He's also similarly going through same hardships.
Yes. Thank you. So he could not keep his mouth shut, so he was talking. So Dasharatha shut it. That's what I think, but anyway, others can talk. I don't know why we are to read this at this point at present time, but I will just leave it at that. See, the Ravana you were mentioning, okay, anyone who wants to talk, please put up your hand, otherwise I will just fill the time. See, Ravana, yes, you said he's a great devotee. Swami says, how much ever you fill a boat, fill a pot with water, even if there's one hole, it will all get drained out. So we, even in the name of devotion, if we fill our heart with, all sorts of good things, if senses are not controlled, one day that will also become empty. Ravana is the greatest example of that. So we do lots of sadhana, but it's of no avail if the sense control is not achieved. That's what Ravana stands for. So that's the reason he could not, because senses causes problem. Because he heard the news, and that triggered all sorts of negative thoughts in him. So I think that's what I would say. But I think Swami is covering some of this later on also.
Sai Ram, brother.
Yes, Sai Ram, sister. Yes, sister. You have to open you have to unmute and speak, sister.
Yeah, Sai Ram, brother. The thing is, I know in names we are trying to understand the names also, why that name was given and all, right? We missed one name before. It's a Harini, because Harini we always says it's a Lord, it's a Parvati's name or Lakshmi's name kind of. That also missed, and this Ravana also maybe there is a meaning. So that also shall we cover, please? Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you, sister. I will open it up for others to share what they want to share about the name Ravana and Harini. Okay, we'll start with Harini and then we'll go to Ravana. What is the significance of that name is the question. If anyone would like to.
Harini is a deer, which is a very natural nature of a woman. That just like a deer, which is very simple and which is very, it's afraid of things, what is that word? Nazuk, very. Sai Ram, I'm not able to understand.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Harini.
Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please? One second. Sister Harini is deer-like, as Auntie said. Okay. That which is fickle also is Harini. It means it doesn't, even the eyes are darting, it just doesn't stay steady, it will jump up and down, things like that. So it's a deer qualities, which is Auntie was saying that eyes also dart back and forth, they say. But it also means, Hari also means that which grabs attention. That which can grab our mind also is Harini. By its if our mind is also moving about, it will be captured by a deer, so anything which moves about. So in this world itself can actually capture us, our attention and our desire. That's what happened to that sage. Or it tried, but she failed because the worldly attractions did not distract her. So anything in this Harini also means that which is green, that which is natural and fresh also is Harini. So there are multiple meanings, sister, but I think that's good enough for us. In the context here, I think she was trying to distract and attract his attention. Distract from tapas and take him towards the world. The world is always doing this to us. So many things are beckoning to us and then we fall. And I think that's what it is. I will stop there. If anyone else would like to share any thoughts. So on the name of Ravana, sister, I think there are a couple of discourses where Swami has spoken about the name Ravana. He says the Bhakara should be present in all of them. That's what he says, Rabhana, Vibhishana, and Kumbhakarna, And Swami, there is some meaning to that. I think I would rather share that with everyone and then discuss. I cannot fully recall all the aspects of it. So that's what I would say. But Swami has definitely spoken about the name of Ravana. And how Rabhana became Ravana, also Swami has discussed. So I will leave it at that for now. I hope it's okay.
So I know we talked about how when Ravana was struck with shame, that's when the arrows returned to Ayodhya. Now, when we talk about the context of the door being the mind, can you just elaborate as to what the significance of that shame? Is is it that like when we acknowledge that this feeling of ego is there, that acknowledgement is that sense of defeat? Is that what it is? And that the reaction after that acceptance of that defeat is what dictates, I guess, the future occurring events? Is that how I should take it? I'm just confused a little bit.
Yeah, I think we are. Anyone would like to comment on that? Why, when he felt ashamed, the arrows returned. Yes, Rohit, please go ahead.
Sorry, Uncle, can I take a step back? I found the discourse that you were talking about.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so I will just quote what Swami said. I'll
Yes.
just read the whole paragraph so we get the full context. So, Vibhishana was the younger brother of Ravana. They were three brothers, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Vibhishana. Vibhishana was always calm and composed and was free from hatred, jealousy, and anger, unlike his elder brother Ravana. The third brother Kumbhakarna was eating and sleeping all the time. The very name Ravana signified anger, jealousy, and hatred, whereas the name Vibhishana indicated peace and quietude. A man's name influences his nature. This is from 2009 discourse. Unless you were talking about some other discourse, Uncle, this is the one I could find.
Yeah, that's good, Rohit. There are a few discourses where Swami has discussed. So I think this is good enough for now. Thanks a lot for pulling it up. But that's why I said there are 2-3 discourses from my memory, but that's why I just wanted to consolidate the understanding and speak. But thanks for sharing and discussing. I think for now, Swami has made us understand the meaning of Ravana through you. So I think thanks for that. Sai Ram. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts about why, as soon as he felt that, realized that he got defeated, why did the arrows leave? I think that's a question which Saishan is asking.
Yes, also in context to like the doors, like the blockage of the doors representing the mind, that if it's correlated or not.
So I think mind has not been mentioned by Swami. Swami only mentions heart and the door face being lost. Okay, I think that's what I would say. Maybe it didn't really have an impact on his mind. His jealousy would have still remained. And he did some more things. We are going to come to them anyway. Okay, so he was still plotting. So he just, I think Dasharatha just addressed one incident. That's all. He did not try to reform him or change him or anything like that. Okay, Sai Ram, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, not so much looking at the symbolic level, but just looking at the narrative level. Certainly with the arrows returning as soon as Ravan feels shame, to me it just demonstrates that for Dasharatha, he was simply making a point, right? That Ravana challenged him, and he sort of showed Ravana, don't challenge me because you're not such a big shot after all. And as soon as that feeling was gone, it's not as though he was really angered to punish Ravana terribly or reform him, anything like that. No, it's just, okay, you challenge me, challenge Matt. That's it. Sai Ram.
Thanks, Ron.
Sai Ram.
Yes, Uncle.
Ravana has been defeated many times. First, with the Vali, he was ashamed, and also Jatayu's brother also. So he's used to this kind of shaming.
Thank you very much, Uncle. See, what struck me was the arrows which Dasharatha sent were AI enabled. They were artificial intelligence enabled because they could even read the mind of Ravana. So, Sai Ram, Ron, Bina, did you raise your hand?
Saramanna, I am just thinking regarding that Ravan has such a huge ego that he was not able to even think that what he's doing, and that is what it happens. This the one who has the ego is hardly they can even think through, and that's why he was defeated many times by Jatayu and others. Sai Ram.
Also, I'll just add one thing, just based on the brief description of Ravana and his brothers. Clearly, it's showing the three gunas, that Ravana is clearly the rajasic one, and that Kumbhakarna is the tamasic one, and Vibhishana is a sattvic. That's all, Sai Ram.
No doubt the name Ravana starts with Ra. Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, I was just going to say on a lighter note, it is Atmic intelligence.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, because I think it's a very subtle thing how, at several layers, at a physical level, if you see Ayodhya being, like, I don't know, is it 5,000 or 10,000 kilometers away from where Lanka is, and
So it's intercontinental
ballistics. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So one is just telling at those days the extent, the precision, because one, we know that Dasharatha always he was an expert at Shabda Bedi. So that itself shows the mastery with sound, and this shows even the mastery over all the spatial.
Sorry, Sai Satish, you had to explain Shabdabedi. Not everyone may understand. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Anna. So in the context of the story of Shravan Kumar, you
just explain Shabdabedi. We will come to Shravan Kumar.
Okay, that may. Okay. Yeah, so Shabdabedi is basically adept in the direction that the sound comes. The person is having so much mastery that using the sound that emanates in a direction, they can meet the target with the arrow that's sent.
Yeah, so go ahead.
The Shabda is the sound, and the Bedi part is they are able to distinguish the sound through which they are able to meet their Lakshya or the target. So, at a physical, which shows that if one has mastery over their senses, the extent to which the faculties of the mind develop, that it by itself confers supernatural powers at the realm of whatever can be achieved. But the interesting part is again to a level where, again, I'm just trying to see the arrow's returning part, when we say that when Ravana felt totally humiliated and defeated, that's when it comes back. So even as I'm just trying to it just again time and again shows the efficacy, because those days they will chant like a mantra and then release the arrow, and whether we call it Brahmastra or any other thing, and just that sound of those mantras would guide the arrow to meet its target. Even in anything, even we see that in Mahabharata or anything, they will like pick a straw and then chant a thing and throw it, and it turns into a missile. So it shows the efficacy of sound. It shows the efficacy with which a person with mastery of senses can achieve at several layers, both externally and internally. So just wanted to add that, Sai Ram.
Okay, thank you very much, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to discuss any points, or?
So, Uncle,
Yes, Rohit.
Dasharatha was the master of 10 senses, whereas Ravana, the 10-headed, was basically a slave of the 10 senses. So, but in our world today, we often talk about these 5 physical senses, but rarely do we talk about the 5 mental senses, which holds just as equal importance whether to determine whether we are a slave or we are free from Maya. So, can we discuss as to the examples of the 5 mental senses, how it affects us in our daily lives? Because it seems to be literally the difference between Dasharatha and Ravana.
Thank you very much, Rohit. Good question. Anyone who would like to discuss the control over the 10 senses? I think that's what the senses which Jnanendriyas, which consume input from outside, and Karmendriyas, who discharge outputs through various organs. All of them have to be controlled. The control is exercised by the buddhi, but if anyone would like to discuss or comment, I will open it up for everyone. So maybe I will, yes, Auntie, please go ahead. Auntie.
The 5 senses of perception are bringing information from outside, external world, and it is reaching the mind. The mind, especially the buddhi, intellect, it has the discriminative faculty. It has to tell the mind that this is right and this is wrong. Only then it's a master. Intellect is the master. So the mind has to listen to the master and then take the decisions. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts? So maybe I'll just give a couple of examples, Rohit. See, they say there are 5 different animals which show how the 5 senses can bring about their own death. I don't know if anyone would, anyone who remembers, knows, please share. No one is. So I'll just see. One is elephant. Elephant is something which is controlled by touch. It loses, it even forgets that what its power is. As if you look at a bee or the bumblebee, it is a slave of its taste. It goes and gets caught up. It drinks and then apparently it dies when the flower closes. The deer is supposed to, as soon as it sees light, it's affected by that. Yes, Auntie.
I think it is sound.
Sound, Auntie? Deer is sound?
Deer is sound.
Deer is sound. Thank you very much, Auntie. And I think the fireflies, they see light and then they go
are
and
affected by light.
burn. So the thing is, we also can bring about some destruction to ourselves through any of these senses by being slaves of these senses, taste, smell, and so on. And on the opposite side, the Swami will say, if you don't control your speech, that also can bring about death, because that is our karmendriya. Your hands, the feet means if the feet takes you wherever you want to go, then that's also a problem. The hands, show, we are unnecessarily, engaging in activities with hands. That also can bring about, if we are not controlled, in a different environment. So I think it applies to all other senses also. So we have to pay attention to what they are doing, and we should be able to have total control over them. I hope that answers your question, or may not answer your question, but I hope that's...
What about Jnanendriyas, Uncle?
Jnanendriya we have covered. See, the sight, taste, smell, touch, that is Jnanendriyas. You know, if some people get addicted to sweet, then it becomes a problem. People get addicted to liquor, that's the problem. So
Auntie was saying about
pardon?
So Auntie was saying about how the intelligence processes the information and then tells, but we cannot be slave to the intelligence. It has to listen to the master. So in this case, who is the master? Because usually we listen to our intelligence, right? Because it makes the logical decision for us. So who does the intelligence listen to? Because at the end of the day, isn't that also a sense that is given to us?
Good question. So I will pose it to everyone. You know, I think we have other Vahinis we have discussed it, but so I will maybe Sai Satish will cover that, or Ron and Bina. Sai Satish, go ahead.
Sai Ram, yeah. So another animal I wanted to add is this rat or mouse with the sense of smell. It gets trapped because, like, yeah. So how again? Basically you have the Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha in terms of Shabda, sound, Rupa, form, Rasa, essence, Gandha, smell. So one is Swami actually would say this in the discourse also. Why are your legs given? Are they given to go to lanes and bylanes? Sandulu, Bondulu, Tirugutakala, that he would say. It is given to walk to the places of worship. Why is your hand given? Is it to just engage in basic level of human transactions, or is it given to do charity and of that nature, acts of that nature? Why is your tongue given? Is it given to talk ill about others, or is it given to take the name of the Lord? So each aspect Swami has covered as to one, what is externally facing, which is towards the world, and how it has to be directed towards facing internal, which is always in thinking of the Lord. And it's in that context that, based on what you raised, Brother Rohit, the whole thing is again this, like that whole analogy of a chariot, where the senses are the horses. They are tugging and pulling in all direction, and again you have the all of these horses. You have the mind with the reins, and you have the charioteer being the buddhi, and you have the jivatma who's there who's going in that chariot. So every time the mind has the option of getting pulled with the horses and being externally facing, or it can look inward, and again through the buddhi, which is nothing but when you have a razor sharp intellect, it means that the Atman is pretty much reflected on that buddhi. It is shining in its effulgence, and that is where it is able to every time do smaranitya manityatam. That is, every time it is able to clearly say this is permanent, this is impermanent. So if the mind is able to turn inwards, then what happens is the horses, which are the senses, are also able to get well controlled. It is like what at two levels Swami would say, right? One is you close all the doors and windows, so all the senses which are externally facing are now shut off. But then the mind, which is still inside, it has to now focus totally inside, or else you can shut the doors and windows, but still the mind, the senses are closed, but still the mind is not tamed. And that is where I think absolutely being focused, or is for us at a worldly level, it can be as simple as, will this act do please Swami or not please Swami? Using that as a rule, or if Swami is here, will I do this or won't I do this? That kind of a thing itself can help us help guide the both the Jnanendriyas and the Karmendriyas into a realm of being Swami focused. But I'll pause here. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Ron and Bina.
Sai Ram, I'll just try to briefly address Rohit's question about the the five inner senses, the Jnanendriyas, just in terms of our own interpretation. With the ear, we hear, but we don't always listen. Bina can definitely attest to the fact that sometimes I hear, but I don't always listen. So like the interface is quite often the interface between the senses and the mind, or the brain, as we often say it biologically. But the other thing to keep in mind is, more concretely, is think of when we dream. When we dream, we hear, we see, we touch, we taste, we smell, but our external senses are not active at all. So those are sort of the inner reflections of those. So anyway, I don't know if that helps you, Rohit, at all, but I just thought that talking about the Jnanendriyas, the inner senses, at least that's the way it makes sense to me. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Ron. Thanks. Anyone else would like to share?
Sai Ram.
Yeah,
The master of intellect, can we say that it's the conscience which is inside us? It tells whether our minds are going right or not. I think it's the master of intellect. Even though intellect is jada, it is inert. That consciousness which is enlivening it, it has to say that whether you are doing it right or not. That mind has to, intellect has to accept that conscience as the master. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you very much. Yes, Sister Vani.
Sai Ram, brother. So in answering to Brother Rohit's question, in these Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas, these are 10 out of the 24 Atma Tattvam from Saiva Siddhanta. The senses, external instruments like the eyes, the ears, and all that sees or hears external things, and then it goes through to the mind, and then mind sends it to the buddhi analyze and say right and wrong and good and bad and all that. So then it keeps some things in the mind. So that's how the mind gets attracted, and the buddhi has to always step in to say the right and wrong thing. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister. Anyone else? So Sai Ram, Rohit, I think everyone has sort of, from different angles, they have given us the information. Buddhi ultimately is the instrument which we use to discriminate. As Aisati said, Nitya means Nitya, that what is permanent, impermanent. And Mani Auntie nicely spoke about, and Aisati is also mentioned, Buddhi should ask, will Swami like this or not? Buddhi is the one which does that. And that process brings what's called conscience. As Auntie said, Swami always says there are three things: consciousness, conscious, and conscience. Swami says consciousness, chit, becomes something which is conscious. It means Chaitanya. We are alive. And then that also becomes the conscience, which is the inner voice of the Paramatma or Swami, whichever. So the Buddhist master is that, he should listen to what Swami has told, then I will implement. And that job is given to Buddhi, but it should always listen to the conscience, which is the inner voice of the Lord within us, or instructions by the Lord or Guru or God who we are following. I hope that sort of summarizes all what has been shared by everyone.
Yes, Uncle. Thank you, Sai Ram.
So if everyone is okay, then we can move on. If it's okay. Yes.
Sorry. The last sentence, we discussed, but because of the Ravana realized that he was defeated, kind of thing. Only the arrows are returning back to Ayodhya, and door also flew open. Is that symbolize anything else? Nothing, right? So it's like is defeated, then I can see, arrow return, And
So that means the Ravana sends us again back to square one.
Yeah, actually, Ravana threw a challenge to Dasharatha. Dasharatha sent a response.
yes,
Now he is defeated.
yes,
Defeat.
yes.
That itself is a sign, that
Time, yeah, that is
that I
written.
accept you.
Now
Now the doors.
you are free. Okay. He's back to okay. It's like Ravana ruling by in his own ways, right? So we'll see. Okay, then.
Next.
Okay, thank you, Sai.
Sai Ram.
Okay, so
Ravana, however, decided that he must overpower all the rulers of the world, and realizing that he could do so only by winning divine grace, he went over to the depths of the forest and selected a favorable, auspicious spot for his ascetic practices. The asceticism of Ravana was so intense and satisfying that God Brahma was compelled to appear before him and offer to grant him whatever boon he desired. Ravana, ask for anything you want. I shall give you your heart's desire, said Brahma. Ravana was revolving in his mind the insult he had suffered at the hands of Dasharatha. He argued that Dasharatha might get even mightier sons from whom he might suffer more. So he asked the boon he wanted. Lord, bless me with this gift of grace. Let no child be born from the loins of Dasharatha. At this, Brahma said, so be it, and immediately vanished from the scene, lest Ravana might frame another foul request if he were present before him. Ravana strutted about, proud and devoid of fear, exulting over his prowess and success. Sai Ram.
thank you very much. Auntie, we will read.
Sai Ram. నాటి నుండి రావణుడు సమస్త రాజులను జయించునట్టి శక్తిని సంపాదించుకొనవలెనని తలంచి.
So from that day, Ravana, wanting to overcome or rule, defeat all the kings in the world, to earn that
పవర్, శక్తిని సంపాదించుకొనవలని తలంచి, he thought so, తపస్సు చేయుటకై వనమునకు బయలుదేరెను.
He went to the forest to perform tapas.
తగిన స్థానమును ఏర్పరచుకొని ఘోర తపము ఆచరించెను.
So he found a suitable place, an established place, and he undertook very severe penance. ఆ తపము అతి తీవ్రమైనది అగుటచే బ్రహ్మ ప్రత్యక్షమై. When that tapas became extremely severe, Brahma appeared in front of him.
రావణ, నీకేమి కావలయునో కోరుకొమ్ము.
He said, "Oh Ravana, whatever you want, ask me.
తప్పక ఇచ్చెదను అనెను.
I will give you without fail," he said.
అంత దశరథుడు చేసిన పరాభవమునకు మనసున తలంచి.
So he remembered, or he thought of the loss and humiliation he faced at the hands of Dasharatha.
దశరథునికి ఇంత బలమున్న అతనికి పుట్టునట్టి పిల్లలు ఇంకెంతటి వారు కాగలరు అనుభావమును.
So if Dasharatha himself is so powerful and strong, his children may be, how strong they will be. Thinking thus,
భయమున తలంచి, స్వామి, దశరథునికి రక్తమునకు పిల్లలు కలుగకుండునట్లు వరము అనుగ్రహింపము అని ప్రార్థించను.
He prayed out of fear, or Swami, this Dasharatha should not have any child from his bloodline, and please grant me that boon. And he prayed thus.
అంత బ్రహ్మ సరి ఇచ్చితని అని తెలిపి అచటనే ఉండిన రావణుడు మరేమైనా కోరవచ్చునని తలంచి మరుక్షణమే అంతర్ధానమైంది.
Then Brahma right away said, okay, I will grant you that. And if really thinking that if I remain here, Ravana may ask some other boon also, right away, next moment, he vanished.
రావణుడు నిర్భయుడై తన శక్తి సామర్థ్యములు.
I think that's all.
That's all. Sai Ram.
Oh, no. That's all. We have covered.
రావణుడు నిర్భయుడై తన శక్తి సామర్థ్యములను స్మరించుచు గర్వించుచుండ మరొక తలుపు వానిలో మార్చెను.
So Ravana became very proud. Without any fear, he understood that he was so smart and his power, now he was powerful. Thinking about that, he was egoistic, and another thought actually rose in him.
Yeah, another thought. మరొక తలుపు వానిలో మెరెసెను.
I think that
one more thought came to his mind.
That's half of that sentence is translated here, Auntie. So
okay.
So Ravana felt very proud and powerful, and his fear was a little less now. So I'll stop here. So I will open it up for any discussion. Anyone would like to see what's happening? Is there something for us to learn? Is there anything? Stop. Yes, Sai Satish.
Sai Ram, it's said that one often meets their destiny on the road they take to avoid it. In this case, literally Ravana planned in one sense the advent of Rama with his boon. By doing that, it gave no other alternative but divine intervention. So that is one thing. And other thing is, you can also see how Ravana, he did the penance, but ultimately it became like a vulture kind of a scenario, flying very high but keeping its aim on the carcass. So he's doing such lofty penance. And Lord Brahma appears. You can ask all Brahma to be gone and Sakshatkara, and yet you ask that person should not get. It's a very, very it says again the same thing. It's not only the process of what you do, but what is the lakshya. Swami would say the target. Karya, karma, and the karana. Yeah. In this case, the lakshya. Yeah, he could have had that lofty goal, but again and again, I think the desire. It clearly shows how desires leads one to downfall despite all the prowess they have. I'll pause here, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to discuss?
At the same time, Ravana, people like Ravana, wicked people, can go to any extent to satisfy their desires and to get their target, get their lakshya completed. So Ravana took the vow that he will go to Brahma, and then he did tapas also. But the way how he asked the boon from Brahma is full of that vengeance, which he had suffered defeat from Dasharatha. So he wanted to completely make sure that he doesn't get any child. he goes to that extent. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Uncle, I'm also trying to understand. So, like, he has undertaken this penance with the idea that he wants to defeat all other rulers, and so he has come to a realization that he can only do so with the divine grace. So his intention is already for a desire of something that's external and materialistic, but Brahma still is compelled, although the intentions of the penance may not have been for quote-unquote right reasons. Why is that?
Okay, Sai Shan is saying, why didn't Brahma use his discrimination? That's the question. Okay. Okay. Did I rephrase the question? Okay, Sai Shan?
You rephrase the question, Uncle, that's all.
Yeah, I read between the words. Oh, I listened. So the thing is, I think even though he had a personal desire and he prayed hard for it, but why Brahma gave that boon is what Sai Shan is asking. Anyone would like to? Yes, Sai Satish.
Hi, Ramana. So it's like the same thing in like if you go to a shop, you pay a certain price, you get the value for the amount that you have paid. So in this case, actually every time that's the same thing, right? Like what you had mentioned in the drama dialogue also, it's not transactional, it is transcendental. He made this transactional. He said, I will do tapas for these many years and I will ask for this. So Brahma came and it became a transaction. I will break 100 coconuts in front of Ganesha and I will pass in the exam in flying colors. So it becomes, so that is what ultimately you go to Kalpataru and you ask for coffee powder, you will get coffee powder. And that's what Ravana got. He could have gone to Kalpataru, and if he'd have asked for Kalpataru, then he would have got that. So ultimately it's left. And since he has done that effort, he will get what he asked for. But he made that trivial in the ask instead of asking for the Lord himself. Right? So that is what I would say, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
Sai Ram. I think I will also add to what Satish said. The Brahma who knew his intentions also knew that this is the exact boon that he needs. So, and we know how the story proceeds along, right? So, I think in that sense, the rain that falls germinates both a weed and a good crop. Yeah, that's the one thing I just wanted to add.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. Thanks. Yes, Sister Vani.
So I'm not sure whether this is the right answer, but
all answers are right, sister.
Lord himself in Gita Vahini, he said, "Now I'm bound by my devotees. Anything that I'm weak about is my the devotion of my bhaktas." So here Brahma maybe gotten weakened and of Ravana's bhakti.
Thank you, sister. Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Auntie.
We come across many examples like that. Lord Shiva, Brahma, they give boons. Maybe they knew what is the intention behind asking such boons, and they knew the future, what it is going to bring about. So I think they immediately agreed to give whatever boon they ask. But the good of the thing will come out later on. They knew it, the future, what is going to happen. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother Sai Ram, I'm just thinking to myself, okay, Ravana is a Shiva's devotee, right? And when he do tapas, he pray to Shiva. But in this case, Brahma is giving the boon. Do you know the reason, brother, why Brahma appeared? And is there any reason? I'm trying to understand.
Yeah. I think Brahma played the double, this, sometimes leaders send their double, they don't show up. See, Brahma is Shiva, Shiva is Brahma. I think we have become, I think Ravana goes to different people and pray for different things. Who knows that he's a Shiva Bhakta? He prayed to Shiva also. I think that's the way I would put it. So God can, when we pray to God, He will appear in the form in which you are praying. That's a reality. So I think He would have played to Brahma only. I think that's the way I would put it. But anyways, yes, Brother Ron and Bina.
Well, I think in this case, Lord Shiva is very sort of too humble. He's a Bholenath. He's not going to disappear. He will listen even the second one also, boon what he's saying. So I think sometimes what happens between these three of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha, that you know that I go first because I know Bholenath's nature. That is what I have to think. I'm thinking that before Bholenath goes and gives the boon, let me do it because Bholenath will give more than enough what he needs, actually. So he takes over. And this is so many examples in our Shastras like that, in Ramayana and Srimad Bhagavat, that, out of three, one goes very fast and gives the boon because they know the Rakshasa Prakriti, actually. That is what I have to say. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Bina. Yes, Sai Satish.
Sai Ram, on a lighter note, he dialed the wrong number. So, if you see actually they say that the invocation, the desire or the prayer itself results in manifestation of the deity that grants it. In that sense, that of course at that point in like you already mentioned, there is no differentiation between the Trimurtis, but in general we know that by our understanding we say Brahma handles the creation and Vishnu handles the sustenance and Shiva the annihilation aspect, and that's what Swami would say, the generator, operator and destructor, the God principle for each of the Trimurtis. So in this case, again, it was, from what I am relating based on what is here in this thing, this aspect involved something of creation, where it was about the birth of the children. So I think ultimately, like we pray to different deities, based on the prayer itself, it kind of, in one sense, gets channelized to that deity. So I'm just elaborating it on that level, that since this went under the realm of creation and so on, that would have literally resulted in Brahma manifesting. And other aspect is, we do not know in here what invocation did Ravana chant. The invocation is what calls for the deity. It's like the call sign, whatever you say. So in this aspect, he would have literally invoked Brahma, and that aspect of creation of creative, or the creation aspect of God, which have brought Brahma. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Yes, Sai Ram Shakaran.
Yeah, I have to unmute 1 second.
You're already unmuted.
Oh, okay. My 2 cents on the whole thing is, if in those days when somebody works hard for achieving something, he or she needs to be blessed with whatever they wanted. And Ravana definitely did tapas, strong tapas, and he needed to be awarded for something. And his intention, as Sai said, wanted to have no children from Dasaratha's blood. So that is why he asked. And who can give better is, again, Sai said, it is Brahma. So that is what I am thinking.
Okay. Thank you very much, Anna. So I think it's 10:16. So I'll just summarize and maybe also add my points. See, generally, I will first address Sister Aruna's question. When we say Brahma, right away we think it's a creator Brahma. We should understand the word Brahma in general means God. The Brahman, generally in English we'll say Brahman, but that's also Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma. Brahma is God. Okay, so we right away assume that, it's a creator. Brahma is different from the other Brahma. But the same Brahman or Brahma is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. I think that we should understand. So I think here we should take Brahma as God. It's not God Brahma, Brahma appeared. That means God appeared. I think that's a better way to take it. Number one. Number two, I think to Sai Shen's question, I think others have already mentioned. Sai Shen, in this world, the world is designed in such a way that our own issues will cause enough problem for ourselves. They say you give the rope to somebody, the one who has to hang himself, they will hang themselves. Okay, so God is not worried what he gives, because people will use that and destroy themselves. It is not the gift which is the problem, which is how we use it is the problem in this world. If we have money, that is also a boon which we have asked and we have gotten. Knowledge also is a boon which we have asked and God's given. But how we use it is in our hands. And God knows, if the intentions are good, you will benefit. If the intentions are bad, the same boon will also kill you. So God is not worried. Anyone asks, he will give them whatever they ask. But the thing is, they may cause some temporary problem in the world. So I think that's why God doesn't like to give too much. And in this case, Ravana, though he wanted to, initially started out thinking he wanted to conquer the world, everyone. But you know how the mind plays tricks? When the boon time came, he only thought of Dasharatha. And then even in Dasharatha, he didn't want to win Dasharatha. He said, okay, let Dasharatha not have a child. So that is, his own lower nature dragged him down, even though God happened to come there. So you go to Kalpavriksha and ask for coffee powder. You will ask for a meal, and then you ended up only a double and came home. Okay, something like that. So I think we'll stop here. We'll continue next week. Yes, Sanjay Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, I just had one question, and we can discuss this next week. I think there was a comment or a question, or actually a remark that was made. Why, after such a pious act, he came back and then asked for something this trivial, or seemingly something that's of vindictive nature. And I thought it's important to maybe discuss that a little bit, because I think in the last line, Swami uses the word nirbhaya. After getting the boon, he goes without fear, and how fear drives a lot of what we do. I think it might be worth exploring a little bit next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. So next week we'll definitely start off discussing that. Thanks. It's a good question. I think everyone can ponder over it and come. Yes, Sai Ram, Sister Geeta. Lakshmi Geeta. Maybe by mistake she pressed. Okay, we will discuss next week. Sister, I don't know whether you're speaking. We can't hear you. We will discuss next week. I hope if you have a question, please hold on to it. Maybe Swami will give you the answer before next week, but if not, we will discuss. Sai Ram, everyone. We will close with the Samastaloka prayer.